Today's episode is brought to you by Audible. For you, the listeners of Awesome Sunday Show, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. And all you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/awesomesundayshow. It's audibletrial.com/awesomesundayshow. Sign up for your free 30-day trial. Check out over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or any of the other 500 devices that they support. Might I recommend The Hobbit, unabridged version by J.R.R. Tolkien. Forget the movies. Listen to the audiobook. They have 180,000 to choose from. Promise you won't be disappointed. All you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/awesomesundayshow for a free audiobook download with a 30-day free trial. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this episode.
And today's show is also brought to you by BarkBox.com. You can get one free extra month of BarkBox at www.getbarkbox.com/awesome. What is BarkBox? Well, I'm glad you asked. Every month, BarkBox paws pick the best all-natural treats and innovative toys to match a dog's unique needs, including allergies and heavy chewer preferences. All edibles are made in the USA and Canada, and 100% of the products are tested on animals. BarkBox is a great way to try different treats from local businesses, and each monthly box is also themed: New York City, Country Fair, etc., etc. And if the dog doesn't like something in the box, they'll actually send you something that the dog will love for free, because they're all about the dog's happiness, and there's free shipping on any BarkBox within the continental U.S. And if the dog falls in love with something from the box, you can easily find it again on barkshop.com or just by texting them or go on the app. So remember, if you want to nab that free extra month of BarkBox, go over to www.getbarkbox.com/awesome.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Oh my god, you guys.
Hey everybody, it's time for the Awesome Sunday Show!
Hey everybody, welcome back to Awesome Sunday Show. Connor here.
And Pat as well.
Pat, how you doing for the fourth time?
I'm doing fine, especially because Evan Bogner still hasn't been on the podcast yet.
Yeah, that's great. It's great that he's still not there. He likes, so there's this thing about Evan Bogner I have to get out of the way. He likes tweets that I tweet that he thinks that I would be embarrassed about if he showed people. And I know he does it for a fact because of like the tweets that he likes, because sometimes it's to like certain people that he'll respond to get a certain response out of. Make a long story short, I don't get his logic because my Twitter is public. Like, I don't have a private Twitter. Like,
I mean, and if there's somebody to be embarrassed about their tweets, Evan is definitely the person to be embarrassed about his own tweets.
dude, remember when who was that baseball player that like is super, super far Christian and like Evan tweeted something like so ridiculous. It was like, I hope he sucks Jesus' dick. Like,
All right, that's pretty funny though.
yeah. Okay, yeah, it's true, but still, like, that is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? Now that I think about it, it is kind of funny. But whatever. Still, the point remains is like I know how he thinks. He's a little conniver. He's a schemer, and I know schemers. I work in retail. I see schemers all the time.
You're a schemer trying to steal old people's money.
Yeah.
You beat the shit out of them until they buy TV from you.
I also fucking scream in their face when they're banging a drum, just peacefully. You know. But anyway, speaking of, let's just get all these fucked up things out of the way. All right. Anyway, topic of the day, which we saw this with our friends Anthony and Zupan. They could not be here, but I want to give a shout out to them because they're big Dragon Ball fans as well.
Well, Zupan's a pussy.
Well, okay, granted, we're recording this at 11, and they both get up at like fucking 5 a.m. You know, like I get it. You know, I'm not mad that they're not here. I wish they were here. But that's why I'm giving them a shout out. And it's spoilers as we get into the episode. We all fucking love the movie. Like,
Yeah, let's just get that over with.
yeah, but and also spoilers that there is going to be spoilers because we always do spoilers in our podcast because, god damn it, like it's so hard to just not. It's easy to write a non-spoiler review, but I think it's really hard to discuss a sincerely like a non-spoiler review. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
have you ever watched online? Like, I think like Team 4-Star, which by the way is like one of my favorite YouTube channels out there. Like even like when they do like spoiler reviews and spoiler free reviews, I just never watch this. And even with like Channel Awesome and like Cinemassacre, like all those like fucking, I watch there's some critics that do it really well, like Chris Stuckman and like Jeremy Johns. Actually, I think they do it very, very well. But they also aren't discussing; they're presenting, which is totally different. But this is why we do spoiler reviews, because we're having a conversation and we're dissecting, and we kind of like that you're joining in the conversation too. It's been a while since we've done like an episode like this, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, what you don't see is Connor has a raging boner that is 1 inch long. He's part of hashtag Micropenis Nation.
I'm actually the what Kanye West was writing about when he wrote Baby Dick. But I've had surgery since then, so ladies, don't worry about it.
Now it's 2.
Yeah, now it's 2 inches. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna be talking about Dragon Ball Super Broly, and like it's just I can't. Every day, it's one of those movies that like every day I think about it, the more I actually really like it. It's absolutely the best Dragon Ball movie, hands down. It's like even like
100%.
even the really good Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z movies, like Fusion Reborn or like
Resurrection F.
Resurrection F, Battle of Gods, and even like World's Strongest and Dead Zone, and then you go back to fucking Sleeping Princess and Devil's Castle, which is a really good one. Yeah, Dragon Ball movies usually vary in quality, but this was like legitimately like amazing. The animation was just stellar, and you even like those like when they're fighting in Dragon Ball and they do like those like the constant like flashing of the same punches and
Yeah.
kicks that go over and over, but it's still super exciting because they're showing
Fucking Dragon Ball.
yeah, and they're showing you like how fast they're actually fighting, you know,
Yeah.
and then when they zoom in, then you see more like intricate attacks. None of that. All the fast-paced action was super well choreographed, in my opinion. And also, I enjoyed the story. Like, was there some things I was a little disappointed in? Yeah, but also at the same time, it was an hour and 20, hour and a half movie.
Yeah, something like that.
And like it was about Broly, and they're gonna fight Broly. So what did you expect? You know.
Yeah.
But I think how they handled it, especially like going like into the origins and into the past, and how everything came full circle. How now there's more Saiyans, which I'm one more. But yeah, it was fucking awesome. I don't know what was your first impression?
Oh yeah, it was fucking great.
Yeah.
The animation was definitely awesome, especially when they went into first person view of Broly fighting.
Yes.
Was it Vegeta or Goku at
He
the
was
time when
fighting
he did it?
Goku.
Yeah,
'Cause that
that
song
was-
sick.
Yes, we'll get to the music, but that first person view of that I thought was a great idea, and
Yeah.
it looked awesome.
That I wish I want them to execute that in the anime more.
Yeah.
Because I mean that may have been very expensive to pull off at the same time, so I might have illusions of grandeur towards the anime, or I shouldn't say anime, I should say the TV show because it's all anime. But yeah, it's I thought that was stellar. Like
That was such a good idea.
yeah.
And yes, the music in this was fucking dope as shit,
And
dude.
you know what it was?
It was so good.
It catered to the fans because like it just they're trying to hype you up because they're trying it's like the creators around Dragon Ball I think are smart enough to know whether I don't know if this is Akira Toriyama that has this input in, but lately Dragon Ball has been kind of fan service with new stories and ideas, which I think is serving it very well. I mean, it's the popularity of Dragon Ball with like since Battle of Gods, since the Dragon Ball Renaissance, it's bigger now than it ever has. Even in the heydays of Dragon Ball Z, it's 100%, and partly because anime has grown into a widely acceptable art form in America exponentially. And What was my fucking point again?
The music was pumping
The
up.
music
man.
was great. Yeah, it was meant to pump you up. So that's why, like, as soon as Goku and Broly start fighting, the guy goes Kakarot, like in the
Yeah.
like the dude's screaming Kakarot, and then he screams Broly, and then when Gogeta and Broly fight, they're
And they
going
do it in like an
"Go,
epic
Gogeta!"
chorus.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
Broly! Like, dude, it's like
Oh, dude.
the music is cheering on the fighting, and that was genius, fucking genius.
Yeah. It was so good, and it made each of the fight scenes just that much more epic, and like all the most important moments just so incredibly
Yeah,
balls to the wall.
and it also, I thought it did it nicely because like a lot of people were concerned where it's like, well, where's Super Saiyan Blue evolution and where's like Kaioken Super Saiyan Blue, but I think they kind of avoided that, but also in a way that didn't hinder the story or the continuity at all because Goku knew like going Super Saiyan Blue,
Yeah.
and so did Vegeta, and even Vegeta says like we can't beat this guy. Like you know, like the fusion was the only thing, and they quickly realized that. So you can really put an argument saying that like if they didn't go that far, they didn't go to that level because they knew that it wasn't possible to defeat Broly. They knew that they had to have a leap in power that was so high that he wasn't able to reach it while fighting.
Right. Plus, not to mention that the Kaioken Super Saiyan Blue just eviscerates Goku's energy.
Yeah.
He is literally like leaking energy at an incredible rate.
You can argue too,
And he acknowledges that in the anime.
Yeah.
Like he straight up says it. He goes, yeah, I'm burning through energy a lot faster with this, as powerful as it is.
right, and you can even argue in the tournament of power because how the Ultra Instinct was too much for him because it was really the first time he mastered it, and it just tore up his body. But like, imagine if he wasn't using SS Blue Kaioken,
Yeah.
you know, and it was SS Blue Kaioken times 20,
Yeah.
which is fucking ridiculous.
He shouldn't have survived it. Like, I think, was it Whis or, fuck. I think it was Whis who said it. He goes, yeah, I don't know how his body's, or maybe Vegeta said it, that like, I don't know how his body is handling this right now.
yeah.
Because he didn't really test it out too much. He kind of just went for it.
Well,
He's like, I think it could work.
well, that's when he fights Hit. And,
Yeah.
and he was saying it's like I was saving this for Lord Beerus, which means he was
He's been practicing, but
he's been practicing.
The level 20 is not what he was practicing.
Well, okay. Well, it was level 20 with Jiren, which I mean, at that time he already fought Zamasu, and he was fighting other characters
Yeah.
in terms of power. But when he first fought Hit, it was times 10,
Yeah.
which is still astronomical.
Yeah.
But it's Dragon Ball.
Yeah, of course. And I think with, Ultra Instinct, yes, it took a lot out of him, and think about what it took for him to get to that state.
Which, by the way, I'm happy is not in the movie.
Yeah, well, in one point where he's like powering up to the next stage, you can kind of see
It's
the
definitely
gray
Hit.
and the silver like kind of going through it.
If you pause it at the right frame, it's silver.
Yeah, and like it's something that think the amount of energy and stress and then just desperation that it took for him to get to that kind of could have like been said to be used in this, but it was better that it wasn't, especially because in this he knew that there's still a way to beat Broly. I mean, he was enjoying the fight in this.
Yeah.
But against Jiren, he was literally fighting for his universe's life.
Yeah, there was the stakes were
The
much
stakes
higher.
were much higher, and at that point,
Yeah.
it wasn't for the thrill of the fight. It was literally for life and death of billions of lives.
But the stakes are still high in the movie. In fact, it's not really the movie's really not about the stakes. It's about the relationships, and it's about like the fate of the characters and how it plays out. Which I actually thought was a nice change of pace for Dragon Ball, because Dragon Ball's kind of always had this thing like, how are we going to raise the stakes? It's kind of it's kind of what like put a sour taste in the Dark Knight trilogy for me. Like, it's like, okay, how much can you really up the ante? Like, why don't you just make quality?
Yeah.
At that point. And that's what I felt about this movie, because like Frieza, Broly, and Paragus teaming up was not the same level of threat, even though they're much more powerful characters.
Yeah.
It was not the same level of threat as Majin Buu. It was not the same level of threat as Goku Black and Zamasu. Especially,
Right.
that's still the highest stakes.
They were fighting gods. at
Yeah,
that
I would
point.
even argue that Zamasu and Goku Black's motives, or like Zamasu in general, was even more dangerous than the tournament of power, because at least a universe survived.
Yeah.
So the stakes have never been well, I don't think it can ever be higher than that. So now it's
Right.
just like
Plus, they knew that they could still beat Frieza. Like Frieza knew that too. Frieza was well aware that he
Yeah.
couldn't beat Vegeta or Goku or
But-
both of them combined.
and Vegeta is scared. He's like like he can get more powerful, right? Like so
yeah,
even,
he can. I mean,
yeah,
that's why he was able to become Golden Frieza, because that was for the first time in his life he trained.
yeah.
So Frieza is still can be a massive threat.
Right.
There's no if and or buts about that. Zamazu's goal was to erase all mortal life,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't matter which universe. He just wanted to keep. He would go through other universes. Once he was accomplished his goal on Universe 7, and Majin Buu was.
Well, Zamasu was going to destroy all of all of existence.
Yeah, it's basically exactly. So, and
In all the-
Majin
every
Buu
universe.
was the strongest thing they ever faced at that point, and he was, for all intents and purposes, at the time, unbeatable because much like Cell, he's able to regenerate, from a speck of blood.
Right. And also, like, Majin Buu, especially in his purest form, Kid Buu, was pure evil.
Was pure evil and just didn't. His only goal was destruction.
Yeah, he was a demon, mortalized.
Yeah.
But immortal in a way, in the sense where it was almost impossible to kill him. It took a massive spirit bomb from Namek, Earth. It was insane. But again, like I find that as a compliment for the movie, because I'm glad for a storytelling purpose. I didn't have to, invest in a high stake of whether, okay, well, how are they going to get out of this one? It's more like
Right. Plus, Broly's goal wasn't to destroy the Earth.
no, it was to kill Vegeta.
It was to kill Vegeta because that's what his dad wanted him to do.
Yeah, the sins of the father.
Yeah.
That which has definitely been tried in many movies, but
Yeah.
it works in this movie. Especially because that was like Paragus' original goal in the original Broly movie, but it just was shittily executed in that aspect of the film. And this made more sense. I felt more for Paragus actually, because they took a lot of time back in Planet Vegeta, and I love I
like the way that they redid it.
yeah, and it wasn't really a retcon.
No, in fact, it just added more
Yeah.
to the lead up to that supernova.
And a lot of people were also worried too, because in the series, like especially in the theatrical trailers, when they were being released, and people were worried because why is it showing Goku and Vegeta at the same age? They're not the same age. Vegeta is clearly older than Goku by a few years. They acknowledge that Vegeta is older than Goku by a few years, and like it's the first 5 years of Frieza reigning over planet Vegeta. But obviously, they cut to 5 years towards the end,
Yeah.
and then you see Bardock and Guinea, which I was very surprised. I was very pleasantly surprised about the execution of Bardock and Guinea, because I do not like Dragon Ball Minus, but I really did like them in this.
Right.
You still got Bardock doing the epic fucking blast to Frieza's
going out
yeah
in style.
going out like a warrior, and like you see a little bit. You see it made sense because like Bardock even acknowledges, he's like, I've been taking lives, like why don't I try to save one? And I think what I really loved about the opening the most is you kind of see both sides of Goku within Guinea and Bardock. Like Guinea is very loving. She's not. You wouldn't think of her as a Saiyan actually if she didn't have the tail.
Right.
But Bardock is a fucking warrior, so I think that's where Goku meets,
Yeah. Well, at the same time, like Bardock, he clearly just fights because that's what he has to do.
Yeah. And he's a
Whether the
Saiyan.
choice was up to him or not, who knows? Maybe Guinea being married to Guinea kind of made him, kind of gave him some morals to it, and kind of made him not question, but not really want to do it. But he didn't have a choice, because if he didn't do it, him and his family would be murdered, whether by King Vegeta or by Frieza, for not living up to his duties. So I think that, you can't really get the hint of that through this because of how little they were on screen, but maybe Guinea is what kind of softened him up to the point where he said, I should save lives instead of take them.
Right. You don't know, but but it was so well executed that like you can even talk, but that you can talk speculation.
Yeah.
One thing I love is that we're not complaining. It's like, oh fuck, like like they should have explained this. Like why didn't Bardock? Like no, it's this like what they focused on along with the characters' personalities and how they work off each other, gives you enough insight to speculate, but also enough to understand to progress the story.
Right.
And that was done very well. And
One other thing that surprised me was that they acknowledged Tarble in this, Vegeta's brother.
I was happy they did that.
I was yeah, me too.
So Yoso and Goku and his friends' return is canon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. And I also like how Frieza looked in the movie because that was his manga design.
Yeah.
So like you see that in the anime a lot. Like remember like Vegeta had a different color palette.
Yes.
Yeah, that was because they had no idea his color palette because the manga's black and white.
Yep.
So that's why Frieza looked a different color. It's just artistic design. That's it. I don't know, but
did they ever show? Did they ever release designs of what, or have it happen in the manga or anything else of King Cold transforming?
no, he was always.
I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah, I mean, there's been like fan mangas. I think like I want to say, I don't know if it was Toyotaro or someone else as like far as like doing fan manga now like that was able to go to and I might be butchering it, so don't hold me to it. But yeah, there's been like unofficial manga of King Cold transforming into like his final form, and then like they're like, oh, it's like Cell level It's like, dude, if he was like fucking Cell level, final form, why didn't he do that against Trunks?
Yeah. I just I was curious about that, and I like how in this movie that they kind of instead of bringing in all the Z fighters, they just let it focus on Vegeta and Goku.
Yeah,
and Piccolo has that very short appearance, and Bulma was there, but she was off to the side. Beerus was in 2 scenes in the beginning.
Yeah, that was the only thing I really was disappointed in was like Beerus's lack of involvement.
I don't think he was necessary to it though.
He wasn't, but I kind of wish he played more of a because I like when him and Whis are together and how they play off each other when they watch the fight.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, I love that Whis was still there, and then I even like that Whis and Broly kind of were like were going at it a little bit, but Whis clearly was in control the entire time.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Whis is fucking strong as shit.
Whis is probably the strongest warrior in Universe 7.
Yeah, he's more powerful than Beerus.
Yeah,
Beerus is a destroyer god, but at the same time, I think that when it comes to Goku and Vegeta, Goku more likely than Vegeta because Goku has reached Ultra Instinct. I think that Goku probably could be more powerful than Beerus. He just is afraid of Beerus because of the title of Destroyer God.
Yeah, well, Goku acknowledges in the movie too that Broly might be more powerful than Beerus.
Yeah,
and I think they're starting to get to that level to where they're like, they might be hitting Beerus's level because Beerus doesn't train at all.
No, and he doesn't have to.
No,
because he is insanely powerful just
by
birth.
But if he did train, he probably would be,
Yeah. I mean, he's already crazy powerful as it is, and, he's clearly lazy. He just likes to sleep and eat.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind that he wasn't at the fight because I don't think we needed more commentary from Whis and Beerus in this if we were already getting it from Frieza during it. And it would just take more scenes away from showing the fight, the battles.
And the fights that they focused on were definitely was definitely the better choice.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing that I was surprised about that Whis left or kept Bulma there, especially when Broly pulled a climate change in 1 second, basically at one point, and turned the complete Arctic into a lava pit.
Yeah.
I would have been. Bulma was still there. We should have gotten her out of there. Granted, he still could have protected her, but but that was fine. And I like how that they showed that the reason, Broly is the legendary Super Saiyan.
Yes.
That's what his power is, and I liked how. Yes, he's mindless, but the reason he was able to go against Vegeta and Goku, especially in their advanced states, is because he was learning on the go and with Saiyans, after each fight, especially when they're beaten into an inch of their life, they get more powerful. But in this, because of how innately powerful he just was from birth, he doesn't need for the fight to end or become within an inch of his life to advance his power level.
Yeah.
You know, X amount.
By now, he's the only Saiyan that was able to tap into the Yozaru transformation without actually transforming.
Yes.
But he did lose his mind.
Right.
He still felt the effects of it.
Yeah, he's still exactly. So I liked how they explained he's learning. His body was adapting with each hit instead of waiting for his body to heal for it to go, like how Goku and Vegeta and all the other Saiyans normally did. Which I thought was a good idea because otherwise, how would he be able to keep up with Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue or anything like that?
Yeah.
So I thought it was a really good idea, and and he probably reached above. I mean, he clearly reached above Super Saiyan Blue, just in their initial form, just in his own
As a Super Saiyan.
as a Super Saiyan. But I mean, you could argue. I mean, he doesn't have a name for it, but I'm sure that he would call that. There's probably a different name for that form.
Oh, a lot of the
Because
fan
you can
base has
tell.
been calling it Super Saiyan Green.
Yeah, Super Saiyan Green. There, exactly. He's clearly was not just in a Super Saiyan form
Yeah.
at one point, and you could see his physical transformations going along with it.
Which
too.
I like too because the legendary Super Saiyan transformation looked different from a Super Saiyan transformation
Yeah.
even in the original Broly movie. He was green. That was always the palette more towards until they did the shitty. Well, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the first Broly movie either, but it's watchable. The shitty fucking sequels. You like
Well,
Bio
no,
Broly, but
Zupan loves Bio Broly. That's his next tattoo is Bio Broly.
he has gold hair because I don't know. But yeah, Super Saiyan Green. That's like in Vegeta, and actually you see it. Like remember when you mentioned that when Goku transforms into blue, you see the Ultra Instinct for a second. You actually see a little bit of green when Vegeta transforms into Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people have speculated that maybe because Vegeta and Broly might be more inclined as far as like their personalities to be more rage-minded. But no, Vegeta is very calm, cool, and calculated. And when he rages out in Dragon Ball Z, it's for things that really didn't go his way. But like even like he was one of the greatest fighters ever in the universe. I think it's more or less it was because it was the middle of a transformation. It was more of an artistic choice.
I think so too.
Yeah, but if it could work either way. Honestly, I don't care. It's so little it doesn't bother me. What did you think about the environment they fought in?
I think it was a better idea that they were fighting away from civilization.
Well, yeah, I do too.
And I think fighting in the Arctic, it didn't really matter where they were fighting because there was going to be massive destruction either way. So the fact that they did it in a desolate place is fine with me. And then that they literally altered the environment because of their fighting.
Yeah.
I mean, Broly alone in Frieza's fight, which was great that he fucking beat the shit out of Frieza. Frieza had it coming.
But it's weird though because Frieza is smiling towards the end. He's like his power level is amazing and he smirks, but like he's like another Saiyan, and I think that runs deeper than maybe some people might give it credit for. I think it's a little less throwaway because Frieza's personality has changed a little bit. He hates Goku and he hates Vegeta. I hope that never changes. I don't want Frieza to be redeemed. It's just
never.
Yeah, that would be dumb.
I mean, using him in the Universal Tournament Saga, the way that
Great idea.
was a great idea, and that should be the most quote unquote redemption that he should ever see.
So back to, yes, and back to the point. So like he's smiling even though he's losing. Frieza, remember, like in Resurrection F, Frieza's like, I've never trained before in my life. Like this might be exuberance. I think that's the word he uses.
I mean, he basically thought it would be fun.
Yeah, it's yeah. Well, it's he's like this might it's motivate me to become more powerful.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it's like when Frieza has all 7 Dragon Balls, they're like, what are you gonna wish for? Immortality or ultimate power? And he goes, which is one of the funniest jokes
dude,
in
it was
all of
so
Dragon
funny.
Ball. Which I'm not gonna tell the joke. I'm not gonna tell it because I think we should mention that joke.
Right. But I like how they mirrored that
yeah,
with Bulma.
exactly.
And they had the same exact justification
Frieza saw Broly
for what they said.
Frieza saw Broly as another way to motivate him, I think, to get stronger.
Yeah.
and then become the most powerful, like warlord in all of the universe. So Yeah, I think I think that actually went into his character, especially how his character evolved over time. You know, as meeting with Goku, fighting with Goku, hating Goku. So yeah, I was totally, I bought it. You know.
Yeah. And I think at the same time, while he was probably embarrassed of getting the shit kicked out of him and how he hated to be challenged, I think he enjoyed it because he goes, okay, so this could be fun. I think that he acknowledges that that it could be fun because you're right. Now he has more motivation to be even more powerful
Right.
because there's another Saiyan who hates him, who wants him dead. So he really doesn't have a choice at this point but to get more powerful if he ever wants to accomplish his goals and kill the Saiyans for good. So that's just another challenger to, motivate him to be better because he's clearly outmatched by those three. He is.
Yeah.
At this point. If he trains, probably not. I mean, he did give them a run for their money when he transformed into Golden Frieza while they were fighting in Super Saiyan Blue.
Yeah, which initially he was more powerful, but he couldn't control it.
No, he couldn't control it, and he was leaking too much energy.
Yeah.
But with training, he could master it and stay that way. Much how like the Super Saiyan Blue is basically more advanced than Super Saiyan God in some ways because it was more about more control for their ki. And I really liked how at one point when Gogeta and Broly like both unleashed massive attacks, it looked like they went into another dimension.
Yes. Well, they did. I think it was just that I can't explain how that happened, but god damn it, was it fucking cool.
That was fucking cool, and
Yeah.
it just showed just how powerful both of them were, and then their full power attacks again probably could rip reality.
Yeah. And I mean, when two gods of destruction fight, it can destroy a universe.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, it's more that comes down to speculation. Who knows? There's no clear explanation to how that happened. But I think that was clearly like, fuck it, like just make it cool. At this
Yeah.
point, it's Gogeta versus Broly. Like it's what the fans been wanting forever.
Exactly, and I love that Gogeta is canon because I
Yeah.
love Gogeta. And Gogeta was fucking sick.
Yeah.
He just was.
And they did the Soul Crusher move.
They did the Soul Crusher move, which was fucking sick.
Yeah.
I mean, just everything about this movie was so
Yeah,
awesome.
I really
it really
enjoyed it.
was like a fan's wet dream.
Yeah, it
in my
was,
opinion.
and I do again. I go now. I really want that joke was so goddamn good.
It was good.
Like about the Dragon Balls between Frieza and Bulma. In fact, like I don't know, like I mean, if you've seen the movie, you fucking know what the joke is.
Yeah.
You know how it's like Bulma wants to use the Dragon Balls to get 5 years younger, but Frieza wants to use the Dragon Balls to get 5 centimeters taller or 5 meters taller. I think he said
5 centimeters. No, definitely not meters. Meters is a lot.
Yeah, meters.
You wanted 5 centimeters because it would be a lot less it wouldn't be so noticeable.
Yeah.
Same reason Bulma only wanted to go 5 years younger is because it wouldn't be as noticeable if she went any younger, and then people would question why she looked so much younger and why he looked so much taller had they chosen any other amount.
Right. It's not like, oh, hey, you just look younger, like or hey, you look a little taller.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like with Bulma's case, it's like, oh, she literally says, people would be like, oh, who's your surgeon? And with Frieza, they would notice that something else to that effect was up and really start to question him.
Yeah.
And it just shows that they are both very vain.
right? They are.
And I thought that was a funny connection between the two.
Which they actually kind of acknowledge that connection in Dragon Ball Fighters in that story. Which the Dragon Ball Fighters story is very lackluster in my opinion. Despite having a really good villain, I love the villain, but the story just was. When the Frieza and Bulma interactions are great. Mm-hmm. In fact, a lot of the character interactions are great in that game. But yeah, that joke was just. It was so well good. It was so well timed. And it just was the parallel was genius. It was actually really fucking funny. Not just as a Dragon Ball or joke, but just as a joke in general.
Yeah, it was a good joke.
Yeah.
And I like how that this is canon now because Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F were not canon. They had to be made canon by redoing them into the series.
They were canon.
No, they weren't canon until they were added into the series. That's why they were done in the
into
series.
Super?
Into Super. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
The movies weren't canon until
But
they became a part.
they could have not done those first 2 sagas and just left.
Well,
the
no,
movies.
they could have just said, "Oh yeah, by the way, these are canon."
Yeah,
They literally could have just done that.
and you can still watch those movies and
Yeah.
just start at the when they fight
Right.
Universe 6.
And they could have just casually mentioned, "Oh, you know what? Yeah,
Yeah.
back when we fought this." I mean,
Because those first 2 sagas of Dragon Ball Super are a little hard
They-
to get through.
they were slow, and it's because we had already seen the movies, which
Yeah.
were in a much shorter time frame,
and also
constrained.
much better executed. I don't know, man. Don't get me wrong.
But it's also because that they had to cover it, and they just spread it out.
Yeah.
Too much, over too many episodes, where the movies were an hour and a half, and they
Right.
got it all done.
But they
pretty
do that
quickly.
with manga,
and they
though.
didn't have to. And they didn't have to add in some superfluous stuff.
Yeah, but they do that with manga. Like they always add in filler, but there's been some great filler that
Yeah.
even Dragon Ball Z filler. Some of it's great. Like
Yeah,
when Gohan finds his motivation to train with Piccolo, that was not in the manga whatsoever. But again, I think Super really
Yeah.
I think is really does shine when they fight Universe 6 and onwards.
For sure. But because it was something new, and it was something that
Yeah.
you know,
It was fresh. It was exciting. It didn't
right.
feel
We didn't already
rehashed.
see it, and
Yeah.
then it didn't have. It's not stories that we literally just saw in an hour and a half stretched over dozens of episodes with filler in between.
Mm-hmm.
It was a new story going right balls to the wall. And with this, they don't have to do that in the next series, which is good because then it's just more episodes to focus on the new story.
Yeah.
Instead of retreading
And-
to go back to this.
And yes, and don't question that this is canon because already in Dragon Ball Super chapter 44 or 43 and 44, the manga, because they've already introduced a new villain who's fucking awesome, by the way. Might if they play him right, he might be my favorite Dragon Ball villain in a very long time, and that's coming strong because Zamasu was awesome. But they acknowledge Broly in 43. Like they're like, oh, we fought the Saiyan. Like it's totally canon. You know,
Right.
Like you can't argue it. Like, it's in the manga. You know. But yeah, I don't know, man. There's just so much that I can just talk about this movie, and I'm still waiting for when Whis is seriously fighting. Like when is Whis going to be in a serious fight?
I want to see Whis go all out, like actually be challenged, and then have to to show how I want to see why he's so much more powerful than Beerus. I want to see why Beerus is
why would Beerus fear him if he had to?
Yeah, I want to see why.
Right.
And one thing that I really like that they did with this, and which was a testament to how much better they did with Broly, is Broly actually had personality in this. It was very stunted because of how he was raised.
Yes.
So he basically had the intellect of a child.
Yeah, that's why he was always screaming.
He was always screaming, and
Yeah.
then he can barely, he didn't know what. I mean, granted, it was where he grew up that he didn't know what water was, but he didn't know what a lot of words were, like simple common words. He didn't know simple etiquette of he didn't know that you can't, eat a wrapper, and that's because he was so used to eating those spider
Yeah.
things.
He pretty much grew up feral in a way.
Exactly. He basically grew up feral, and he was raised to be a killing machine just so Paragus could exact
That's why
his revenge.
I think that's what they show him in the shower for a split second because it's like, dude, this guy has never even taken a shower before.
Right. Yeah, and that's why, and his attachment to the fur of that monster is because that's all he knew as a child was he had a friendship with this.
Yeah, and
this
it was
thing.
taken away from
And
him.
it was taken away with him. And it's like kids with a security blanket.
Yeah.
The young children have security blankets or their stuffed animal or whatever. So he actually had some personality, and we can see that he starts to appreciate Chile and whatever the other dude was, kindness, and it was something that was completely new to him, and you can see him starting to grow because of her. And then especially at the end when they're on Vampa together, that he's actually going to learn how to be a person.
Right. He might learn he might dramatically increase his vernacular.
Yeah.
Which I hope they kind of do. I don't want him it was super cool seeing him like that because it
Right.
made sense to the story why he just was a child in a man's body. But now that he has like people that are educated around him. Like, okay, like next time we see Broly, which,
And then maybe when he goes into Legendary Super Saiyan and beyond, he won't be mindless.
right, which I
really hope that they do. And
Yeah.
which, I mean, leads back to, I'm so glad that they didn't kill him off in this.
oh, I'm super happy.
I was so happy
not
about
only
that.
did that, because like not only did they not kill him off, but they didn't kill him off in the most fucking bullshit like Deus Ex Machina way
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, and not only that, but like Goku was like, yeah, like dude, we're cool. Like he knew Broly was being manipulated, he was being controlled, and that at one point he literally became mindless because he didn't understand how to control his power or anything.
Right, and he was also had the Uzara mentality
Yeah.
still.
And and Goku clearly thinks. I mean, Goku obviously always tries to see the best in people, but I think that Broly can actually become a, maybe not good but decent person.
Imagine if like because now it's Goku and Vegeta.
Right.
Like that's like they're the series will always follow Goku,
Yeah,
but like you can't tell me that Dragon Ball Super is not about Goku and Vegeta.
Vegeta is the second most important character.
Yeah, and he's starting to become just as important, especially because
Not to mention, he's also one of the best characters.
and he
has been for a long time.
I'll argue that his character has probably progressed the most in Super because he's a fucking bastard until
Yeah.
the very end of the Blue Saga. He's not a good guy
Yeah.
at all until the end of the Blue Saga.
Until he sacrifices himself.
Yeah, like he redeems.
But even after that, it took him doing some heinous shit up until he sacrificed himself. Like he willingly decided to annihilate those people at the martial arts tournament.
Yeah, and also too, like remember, like on Namek, he killed an entire village.
Yeah.
And then like when they get revived, they're like, "Where's this village? Like, where's this elder?" And he goes, "Yeah, I wasn't a part of Frieza's men. I betrayed him. So your fucking friends are dead."
Yeah.
Like, and he says that to their face.
Yeah.
And which I'm sorry to get off topic, but I really did like the new 2 chapters of Dragon Ball Super with the new villain, because they go back to Namek. And like Vegeta saves a Namekian, and then he looks at Moro, who's the new villain, and he goes, "I have done unspeakable things to these people. It's like I
Yeah.
can't let you kill any of them."
Yeah,
and
right.
it's pretty cool actually. So like I think Super like and you see a lot of Goku progressing too in Super in a way, and which started in Battle of Gods, because you see how he hates. You kind of find out that Goku hates power that's not his. He goes,
Yeah.
"I didn't achieve this. I hate that." Like Goku strives to be stronger himself.
He wants to be the best.
Right, and I love how I think Vegeta saved Goku as a character, and I think Goku made Vegeta an interesting character because of how they play off each other, and that's why Super really does. They are both the main characters. They're both just as important in Vegeta and Goku in Super, even though Goku still kills the final villain.
Because he's still the main hero.
He's still the main hero, but I wouldn't be surprised if Vegeta gets one like Gohan did. You know, like eventually. I think that might well, he technically beats Frieza.
Yeah.
I don't know, but my point being is, could Broly eventually be the third Saiyan? Like now, like they have a big posse.
Yeah.
'Cause think about it, Vegeta's been around for a while. It would, like, as cool as it is to see them together, it would be fresh to have a fresh.
To introduce another one into the mix
Yeah.
to challenge their relationship or
Right.
their dynamic.
And they all have to work together.
Yeah.
You know, I think that'd be fucking cool.
Yeah, especially because, now that Broly beat the shit out of Vegeta, he's going to hold a grudge against Broly because he embarrassed Vegeta.
Right. Vegeta's like, I had the fuse to beat you.
Yeah, and Vegeta didn't want to fuse. He was going to let Broly commit the decimation because he was too proud and too embarrassed to do the fusion dance. So that shows where Vegeta's pride is still his biggest
And I like
factor to him.
I like how they always point out their flaws, like how Vegeta is very ruthless and Goku's an idiot.
Yeah,
But also too, like, if you see, you see like a little bit of Vegeta and Goku and a little bit of Goku and Vegeta as they've kind of come together.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, like Goku was really like yippee,
yeah,
whereas
he's
Vegeta
too
was super.
happy-go-lucky.
Where Vegeta was very like evil. I was trying to think of another word, but no.
No,
just
he was evil.
Yeah, he was evil. He was definitely evil at one point.
He didn't give a shit.
but they
when Planet Vegeta got destroyed.
No, they didn't give a fuck. And he was a child.
Yeah.
But they've leveled each other out, and I would like to see how now because they've leveled each other out, how they treat Broly. I don't know. That's just what I wish, but who knows?
Right, and I mean clearly since Gohan sort of got redeemed, or he started to get redeemed in the Universal Saga. Well, and he's not going to recapture the coolness of when he beat Cell.
No, he did. He can't.
He can't
but
because
he did have some great moments.
He
in his
did.
Power. Yeah.
But I think that Broly is going to be the new secret weapon like Gohan used to be.
Right. Yeah. Possibly. It just and you know what? I don't mind that Gohan's not like a focus that much anymore. I feel like I like this. I like the way they took the series now instead. Like I get that there's Dragon Ball fans out there that wanted Gohan.
I
to
think
be the
it's
main
too late
character.
to recoup what the potential that Gohan had, the promise that he had to be.
Not only do I agree with that, but I also just feel like the series probably wouldn't have been as good actually if he was the main character.
No, because they couldn't. The relationship between Goku and Vegeta has been such a driving force, especially in Super. Like you said,
Yeah.
they're both the main characters. That Gohan and Vegeta, if they decided to make them that relationship, never would have worked out the same way. It would have been, barely interesting. It wouldn't have had the same magic that Goku and Vegeta have.
Right.
That has, driven the series.
Right.
So
What's-
while Gohan was poised to be, take over for Goku, in the long run, it's better that he didn't.
Yeah, I like that, and also it also makes sense within the story too, because Gohan always wanted to be a scholar.
Yeah.
He was never his dream was never to be a fighter, even though he has enjoyed it, and his arrogance does show when he feels like he's in control.
Yeah.
which he's a Saiyan, makes sense, or the Japanese pronunciation Saiyajin, but fuck that, that's too many syllables. So, listen, I'm cool with Gohan coming in the fight, and I want Gohan to be powerful. In the manga version of the Tournament of Power, it's not Goku who defeats Kale, it's actually Gohan. So, and like Goku's like, shit, when did Gohan become such a good fighter? Because in the manga, Gohan trains in the Room of Spirit of Time, or the Hyperbolic Time Chamber in the English translation. So again, like I'm cool with good Gohan moments, but I like this better.
Right.
And I think this movie is finally a solid proof of that, because Gohan's not in the movie at all,
No.
like at all.
Even Goten's in it for 1 second. He don't.
Right.
I don't even know if he said anything. I think Trunks was just the one talking. But yeah, I think that it was better that he wasn't, and that none of the rest of the Z fighters win, because it just would have distracted away, and the story wasn't about them.
No, it's and that's the thing. Like I get people have attachment to these characters like Tien and Yamcha, and especially since the beginning of Dragon Ball, it's hard
Yeah.
because
I know. I've seen every fucking episode,
Yeah.
and in Dragon Ball, Yamcha and Tien were awesome,
yes, they were,
and
but they're not the focus.
but they're not the focus.
yeah,
Exactly. And they never were, even though that's when they were written the best. They just became sideline characters throughout the rest of it, even though they had their shining moments. I mean,
Yeah.
when Tien was keeping Cell at bay,
right.
but they're not important anymore.
No, they're not, and it's a good thing that they're not actually, because it's
The story is better for them not being.
right. And I like, because like I think if you were to keep them around, don't get me wrong, like those characters are great, but like think of a show like Friends. It lasted 10 years, which is a very, very long time, but it was the same characters all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas with Dragon Ball, you can get new fan bases, and Dragon Ball's been around since fucking the early 80s.
Yeah.
So you can constantly introducing these new characters can bring on new people. It's kind of like a Doctor Who, where it's like you can kind of jump in whenever, because the story will explain itself. And I think that's where Dragon Ball excels.
I agree.
And Dragon Ball Super Broly. Obviously, we fucking loved it.
Yeah. Plus, with those characters at this point, with the threats that they face, they can never actually do any damage again with the increasing,
No.
like Gohan, it's in his blood That's why he was able to come back in such a way. It's in his blood to be able to do that.
Yes.
And, he did have such strong latent power at one point that they were able to, get back into it and then exceed a little bit. But that's because that's the Saiyan blood. That's the only reason. And, even Piccolo, he goes, even if I showed up in this, I would just be in the way. I wouldn't be able to do a single thing. And which sucks because Piccolo is one of my favorite characters. And at one point, he was crazy. He was so strong. But, the Namekians have a limit, and the humans especially. They have a limit and they can never exceed it.
Well, no, I feel like Namekians can definitely break the limit.
Well, I mean, I think that Piccolo.
That's
he did
one
a good
character I
job
don't want on the
in
sideline.
The Tournament of Power. He needs to be. I think he's, even if he's just the wise old sage that's there.
Yes.
They should never actually get rid of him and decrease his appearances. He doesn't have to fight in order to be a great character.
True.
I would love to see him fight because I love Piccolo.
Yeah, like a Master Roshi type.
Yeah.
I get it. But I would like to see like Piccolo with That's the one character because
because Piccolo and Gohan's relationship has always been good.
Yeah,
because he's Gohan's dad.
I get why people have that joke, but like there is good Gohan and Goku moments that people
No,
just
there
choose,
of course
they,
there are.
they-
Of
and
course
like
there
people
are.
choose to forget those.
No, of course there are, but Gohan's best relationship was with Piccolo.
As a friend, yes.
Yeah. Getting back to this, I'm glad that they left it on a happy and open ending because clearly Chile is going to improve Broly. He's going to make him a normal fucking person.
Yeah, just not some animal.
He's hopefully gonna increase his intelligence up to a fair amount where he's not just, it's not like talking to a 2-year-old. And then I hope they put him to good use.
and had a
going forward.
great ending line, which ending line that pretty much signifies that Broly will come back and be around. Goku goes, "Call me Kakarot,"
Yeah.
which means like that's a sure sign of
And Goku was always, that's not my name.
and
Kakarot's not my name.
always let Vegeta call him it though.
Yeah. I mean, Vegeta was never going to do anything else anyway.
No.
So he didn't really have a choice. But this is the first time that he actually tells somebody to call him his name. I think it was a very significant moment for Goku.
Yeah, and also in this movie too, I feel like they call him Kakarot more than they call him Goku.
Well, yeah, I mean, the
I don't
people
know
that
that-
were really just talking to him, Frieza was the only one that was really calling him Goku.
I would have to
and then
research
Vegeta was
that.
the only other one that was really talking to him. Obviously Bardock and Ginye
Well,
were
Frieza calls him
calling
Goku.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Frieza was
I misheard
basically
you.
the only other main character in this that was calling him Goku. Once
Bulma.
Bulma and Whis weren't, involved. So obviously Vegeta, who he was the main person to speak to him the whole movie, was Kakarot. Bardock and Ginye only knew him as Kakarot. Piccolo had like 5 lines, so he couldn't really say much. But other than that, that's why Kakarot was said so much. I mean, Broly didn't know his name at the time. He didn't give a shit. All he knew he had to kill
Yeah.
Vegeta, so he didn't focus on it.
I'm glad he didn't scream Kakarot.
Thank
I would have
God.
been so mad if they did
They
that.
were, we were both apprehensive when this was announced because of the way that the Broly movies
we
were.
had our doubts,
but
absolutely.
Akira Toriyama did a great job
Yeah, and I'm
in redeeming this character.
and I hope he has his hand more into the series going forward. Because even though he wasn't 100% involved, he wrote the screenplay and obviously had a lot of influence. But he didn't direct the movie, he didn't edit the movie, he didn't do the music. It's a collaborative effort. So I hope the team that's there now, Yamamuro, and then even in the English translation with Gen Fukunaga, Chris Sabat, Sean Semmel, Justin Cook, all the Funimation guys. I think they got something. They got a second wave. It's like they got a second chance almost. I think to keep it all going.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's so much they can do with it. The future for this is bright. Can't wait for the new anime for it. Obviously, the manga's still going on, but
Who knows
they're
when
going
it'll
to they're going to do another series I mean, they already said that as soon as Super ended.
Yeah, but I don't know if it might be a continuation of Super. It might, or I'm sorry, it might be a continuation of Super, or it might just be Super still. Who knows?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I think it's gonna be.
But even with that, they can still, the manga is still called Super, right?
yeah, it is.
So then there you go. You just adapt those stories, so it doesn't even have to change anything. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be Dragon Ball.
I would call
new
it Super
subtitle.
still.
Yeah, just keep it Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
or a Dragon Ball Super. Z.
No,
Okay.
no.
But you should. I know you don't read the manga, but the like if you want to kind of get into unless if you want to wait until it's adapted, but like, oh man, dude, I am so about this villain. He's so fucking cool. Because he's not. He's a fighter, obviously, but he's actually a magician.
Yeah,
And he swallows planets to give him magical power.
Galactus.
Yeah, but honestly, like really still fucking cool. Yeah. All right, I don't know, but this movie is fucking sick. I loved it. I hope it comes out on 4K Blu-ray because I will pick.
I
up
thought
right
it
away.
would be out of theaters by now, but for those of you who live around Brick, it's still showing at Seacourt Theaters in Toms River.
Yeah,
Which it lasted longer than Resurrection F. Resurrection F was for
A day.
1 week.
or was it a week?
It was 1 week,
Oh,
and but it only had one showing. But I mean, in the country, in U.S. theaters, it was only in theaters for 1 week.
right.
But yeah, what would you give this movie out of 10, Connor?
All right, so as a Dragon Ball fan, it's a 10 out of 10, hands down.
Yes.
It's if like for me, I like all objectives aside, it's a 10 out of 10. I fucking had a grin the entire. I was laughing. I was excited. I was sitting forward. I was so into it. As an actual movie, like if I did not have such a strong bias, it's like an 8 out of 10, I would say. Because that being said, like I can see someone who's not a Dragon Ball fan, their criticism being like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
But you're not going to go and see this movie if you're not
Exactly.
Dragon Ball, unless you're a critic and you got to do it.
But I still think the 8 out of 10 still is a great score because you have to admit that the animation is stellar. It's some of the best animation I've ever seen in a cinema ever. And I'm not just saying that because it's Dragon Ball. I'm saying that because I think it's true. And it's phenomenal. Granted, some of the CG is a little awkward, but it's gotten significantly better. And honestly, it like if you're going to complain about like literally 2 or 3 fucking shots, like go fuck yourself. And also, again, like not only do they have no idea what's going, like the fuck is going on, someone who's never seen Dragon Ball, there's really no, there's really no backstory for certain characters that you see just like pop in and out.
Right.
So again, like I can see like how someone could perceive something as flaws that just due to natural ignorance from them not being into it. So that's my objective viewpoint. But if you're a Dragon Ball fan, it is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. I had a boner this entire fucking movie. I'm going to give it the exact same score for the same reasons.
Yeah, that's just what it is. You know,
All right, guys. We just released some new merch.
that's fucking dope, by the way.
Yes. Go to awesomesundayshow.com and just click the merch tab right on top. It's the easiest way to get it. You can get it on t-shirts, sweatshirts, stickers, phone cases, mugs, all that shit. There's a lot of options for you to get it. Do it. Get some cool stuff. And then of course, obviously support us because that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
And
Imagine if
then-
we didn't have to like have jobs anymore and this was our job.
that'd be fucking sick.
Yeah.
And as always, check out our sponsors. Thanks for listening, guys, and take it easy.
Peace.